Yeah, make sure to smash that like button. It's best when the video will Okay, I'm gonna do that then. Okay, so no commentary right now. Let's just start our run. 3, 2, 1, go. So Zion, what I look for in a speed run, well, I guess there's multiple questions. There's the questions of what makes a game a good speed run, sort of objectively, or at least as objectively as you can be, and there's a question of what you would want to run. I mean, in terms of what a person wants to run, that comes down mostly to personal preference. For example, I don't think I would enjoy running there's a lot of speedruns I just know that I don't enjoy. I don't think I would enjoy running a lot of super long RPGs, for example, but they might still be good speed games. So for me, especially since I enjoy running platformers, lack of RNG is always a good thing. The less RNG in your run, the better, for pretty obvious reasons. It's very frustrating to lose time to RNG that you can't control. It can also just be kind of disheartening. For example, my PB in this game has first try chicken thief, which means that if there's ever a run where I get anything less than first try, I am automatically losing time. So that's certainly something. Probably the number one thing, even more important than RNG in a run, is that you absolutely need to have controls that are as responsive as you can possibly make them. So when I press a button, I don't want it to make me jump a frame later or 2 frames later. I want it to make me jump immediately. And that can be a difficult balance, just generally speaking, when it comes to gameplay, because sometimes there's 2 different things at odds. There are animations and there is control. For example, if your character was just a rectangle, it would be pretty trivial to make the rectangle move side to side and jump and do everything you want it to exactly when you press the button. But when there's animations involved, it can be more difficult. For example, if you're a character swinging a big heavy weapon, logically, the enemy should not get hit until the animation is in such a place where the enemy would actually hit it. But depending on the game type, you might want the player to feel like they're hitting the enemy immediately. It might feel less responsive. The weapon thing is maybe a bad example because many games like Dark Souls use, weapon lag or like weapon swing time as a fundamental mechanic. But you get the idea. Is you really want your game to be as responsive as it can be. That's what makes Ori an incredibly good speedrun, is that the controls in that game are just perfect. Oh my god, get out of here. It's what makes this a really good speed game too. I have to play with a VSync off, which unfortunately means that there's a bit of screen tearing. But otherwise, the controls in this game are very, very fast. I can dodge and whatnot, and it always happens on the frame that I do it. Because if you're going to speedrun, I mean, and assume for the sake of argument that you already enjoy the genre and all that stuff, and you're not going to soft lock all the time. If you don't have responsive controls, you're just not going to be able to control it well enough. On that note, having responsive controls, very good thing. Get up here. Get chicken. Get off the wall. Get off the wall. There you go. On that note, it very much helps when games have get off the wall. Oh my god. It very much helps when games have complex is not the word I'm looking for, but it really helps when they have deep movement systems that have a bit of complexity to them. For instance, when you're playing a game that's a game might be perfectly responsive and have no RNG, but like it might just be really boring. A good example of that is something like if you know the game Pony Island, that kind of weird horror game, that game would, in my opinion, be boring as fuck to speedrun because there's nothing to do. You just kind of run to the side and you press A. Like, this game is enjoyable because I have to do roll jumps all over the place, and I'm trying to avoid slopes and not bonk into walls, and I'm trying to dodge cancel at the perfect time. There's a lot of complexity, and there's a lot of very, very fast, responsive, quick systems to master, and Ori is just the god. It's just a god tier game in that respect, in my opinion. There's so many skills you can chain together in interesting ways, and at least for a movement-based speedrun, like you said, if it isn't an RPG or something. Not that there's no movement in RPGs, but for heavily action-oriented, fast-paced, real-time games like these, I think those are some of the aspects that you need. There's some sort of meta aspects you could go into, like probably have good graphics and music, or else no one's going to want to play your game for long periods of time. it really helps when the developers are supportive of speedrunning. Like, I could see a developer trying to, you know, maybe they watch a run at GDQ and in response they release a patch that that gets rid of all the glitches. That wouldn't be very fun. Also, you asked why the character looks normal standing still. It's because I glitched the game. That's something that only happens right at the beginning, where your character's sprite swaps between Juan and Luchador Juan. Crap. I mean, it's a lot of things. Just the more depth and control and responsiveness you can add to your controls, the better. For example, you could have a game that jumps, but this game has variable jumping, as do most platformers. But because it has variable jumping, that adds another layer of skill. Like, even in that section back there, I can save time by not jumping to my maximum height every single time. I mean, if I had to pick one rule to make a good speed game, it'd say just make a good game. If your game is good, people will speedrun it. Agreed, Muffin. It really helps a speedrun a lot if there are some really fun, interesting glitches, although that's not really something that I think you can control very well as a developer. Because if you're a developer, this is something that I've thought about, you don't really want to include glitches specifically for speedrunners, I think. One, because that kind of feels like a cheap cop-out, and I think it would diminish the value of finding the glitches. Two, you don't really want to leave glitches in your game if you can help it. That's just bad practice. And third, the glitches that you leave in the game might just be irrelevant because someone might find an unintended glitch that's way faster. So I guess those are some of my points. Responsive controls, complex movement systems, lack of RNG. Good fucking lord, make cutscenes skippable. I love the owl. Oh, hey Eshi. Basically, in my opinion, anything that just takes away from the action is annoying. Like, even in this game, there's a weird thing where if you're watching this speedrun and you're not very familiar with it, or you haven't heard me explicitly talk about this aspect before, this game has a weird delay on its menus. So, like, if you watch me skip through dialogue, if you watch through Ori dialogue, bad example because in Ori we just make all the dialogue disappear, but if you look at Ori menuing, I mean, you've seen the task. It's so fast you can barely even see the menu. It lasts for, you know, like one frame or something insane. In this game, it lasts for quite a bit longer. The reason is that, and this is something I will never understand, they just add a delay, where when a dialogue box appears, you can't skip it immediately. And the same is true for menuing. Like, the next time you see me quit out of the game for a select or a glitch, pay attention to how I pause the game and I don't immediately move the cursor. It's because the game doesn't react to my inputs right away. It's a bizarre design choice that I think is a bad one. That's fair. Well, regardless of what your name is, how are you doing? It's kind of tricky. Like, I think the perfect speed game is a game that has all the aspects I mentioned, low RNG, really good controls, is just a good game overall, and then ideally include some interesting glitches that make the run really fun. That part's difficult because it's not something that the developer can really control very well. That's where Ori's perfect in that regard, because I guess whether intentional or not, there are a lot of really cool glitches. Me too. Me too, Muffin. The length of a speedrun is a big factor. Not necessarily in its quality, but just in its accessibility. Although, again, that's not really something that the dev would decide either. Also, I'm, generally speaking, really not a fan at all of games that are built to be speedrunnable. A good example of that is CM. I just don't like it. To me, speedrunning is, I don't know, it's meant to feel personal to, okay, it just didn't do an uppercut there for some reason. To me, speedrunning is supposed to feel like personal to the communities that run them, and I really don't like it when developers try to impose their rules. It's even little things, like CM is a game that's built to be speedrunnable, but what if you don't want to start the timer there? What if you want to run the game without splits? It's kind of like it just restricts you. What if you want to run categories of the game such that the splits are inaccurate? It's really annoying. That's something that communities can decide among themselves, and it shouldn't be up to the developers to do that for them. It reminds me of games that are built to be YouTubed. Like someone makes just a piece of shit game that they say, oh, you can play it with your friends, it's fun. We'll make money because we'll get the YouTube gaming crowd to play our game. And to me, that just seems insulting. It's like, just make a good game. That's how you get people to play it. God, it reminds me of people talking about dating. It's like, what's the secret to making girls like you? Don't be an asshole. That's how you make girls like you. It's the same way you make anyone like you. It's like, how do you make people play your game? Just make a good game. Be a good, decent developer. Communicate with people. It just seems so obvious to me. At least that's what I look for in a game. Yes, there's a huge component of luck too, but God, that stuff just bothers me. I mean, it's good that you're worrying about glitches, though, Zion. It means that you're probably a good developer. It'd be worse if you weren't thinking about them. Well, I mean, just because your game is procedurally generated does not mean that it's not speedrunnable. It just usually means you have to speedrun in different ways. For example, Crypt of the Necrodancer and Binding of Isaac have thriving speedrunning scenes, at least from my knowledge. You can't really do leaderboards in the same way because obviously, I mean, you might just get a really good seed and no one can ever beat it. But what you can do of procedurally generated games is race them, which means that if you want to make your game friendly to speedrunners, you need to give the option to input a seed. And ideally, and this is just something I think you'd want anyway, is you want the ability to modify the parameters of the generation, at least in certain game modes. Like if you want to have challenge modes or if you want to have like a story mode or something, that's fine, but it's always good to have those configurable options and the ability to put in seeds. That makes the game speedrunnable, at least in races. Oh, sure. Okay. Then yeah, you already know what I'm talking about. Right. That can run into some problems as well. Muffin. For example, I got into some pretty heated arguments with people on, about the Surge. In general, it's just very annoying to me when you have to run a game on an old patch. It's one thing if a game's been out. It's one thing if a game's been out for a year, and then for some reason it's patched. Like at that point, there's a bunch of existing runners. But in the Surge, for example, the developers included quick save, quick load. And since the Surge is a Souls-like game, having quick save, quick load just completely, like, fundamentally breaks the game. And it also, since presumably it was used for debugging, they didn't really flesh it out all that much. And so if you quick save and quick load on an elevator, you break the collision system and you can run through the whole world and it just trivializes the whole speedrun. You can make yourself invincible, it's ridiculous. And people were doing speedruns with that trick, and that's fine, but it's like, I don't know, my approach to running is when a game comes out, it's going to be glitchy, things will be patched, so just don't get attached. Like, don't get attached to the speedrun. And if a patch gets, or if a glitch gets patched out, whatever. Just, you know, suck it up, move on, and run the most recent version. That's different if a game gets patched later or something, but right at the beginning, it's like the game is going to change so much anyway. It's just way too cumbersome to try to maintain You know, you'd end up having like 4 leaderboards per category because you'd have to have the run for patch 0 and for patch 1 and for patch 1 with kill switch and all these other things. It's like, I don't know, that's frustrating. I mean, there's no reason that someone can't run this game in principle or something. I mean, people can do whatever the hell they want. I have no authority to tell someone what to speedrun. But I'm like, as a community, is this really what we want to do? Because I can tell you what kills a speedrun is having no community behind it. It certainly makes it less... Like, when I was running Salt and Sanctuary, even right now, like, this game is really cool, but I'm the only one running it. Like, it's... Like, Ori does so well because there's so many other runners and it's so active that it's just... It's not just that you're running the game and it's a good game. You want to run it because you want to share it with your friends. And if you're going to start segmenting your leaderboards, you're just going to take whatever community you might have for the game and just make sure that none of them are running in the same category. It's silly. Right, I agree. I agree. Well, and again, it's one thing if you just have miscellaneous categories. To me, are more just to do silly things. You know, it'd be something like Ori all map stones, something that's silly. But what I'm talking about is it would be really, really annoying if like we had, like, imagine we had all the categories that we had for Ori, but then we had all skills patch 0, all skills patch 1, and all skills patch 2, and we had that for every category. It would just get annoying, in my opinion. Again, that's not like a hard and fast rule. There are times when separating by patch is a very good idea. I just don't think that it's a smart thing to do when the game first comes out. I think you're just asking to fragment any potential community you might be building around your game. And it's certainly not very welcoming when someone joins a Discord and they just see arguments about it. Or here's another example. With the Surge, there was this quick save, quick load thing, and then it was patched out, but one thing they introduced was this kill switch because they learned after the game had come out it was possible for players to get stuck behind certain physics objects and then they couldn't continue the game anymore. And so having nothing to do with speedrunning, just as a player tool, the developers implemented a kill switch where if you press like, you know, L3, R3 and all the triggers at the same time, it'll automatically kill your character. Which is a good feature. It's meant to be a last resort. It's like, this is not meant to be a normal mechanic in the game. And for a casual player, you would have no reason to just kill yourself unless you really were stuck. But from a speedrun, there are a lot of times where you want to take an intentional death in order to warp yourself back. And in those situations, having a kill switch suddenly saves you time, potentially a significant chunk of time throughout the course of the run. And so immediately when that thing came out, I immediately and very strongly said, I think we should ban kill switch in all cases. Do not use a kill switch unless you are legitimately stuck. And a bunch of other people started making the argument that it's part of the game, so we should allow it. I'm like, well, the debug console is part of Half-Life as well, but you don't see people running Half-Life 2 by opening up the menu and toggling no clip. It's part of the game just as much as the kill switch is, but it would be a really stupid speedrun. It would take no skill. You would just fly to wherever you need to go. And it's not that the kill switch in this case would save as much time as no clip, but I'm like, it's the same principle. There's a difference between glitches and exploits use intended game mechanics and you use them in unintended ways. That's very different from using debug tools. I don't think that debug tools should be used in speedruns. And that's not exactly a controversial view either. I mean, I don't know of any speedruns that use them. Which is what I tried to tell everyone, and they just had some differing opinions. Which is frankly part of the reason why I'm not too interested in running that game, is I just got into a lot of arguments with the other runners. Didn't seem like it was going to be a very supportive community. Oh my god. There we go. Muffin, did you hear what I said about the kill switch thing? I think you'll find it interesting. Sounds good, Zion. No, I can just say it again. That's okay. Okay, so what I said is, in the Surge, their first patch, among other things, introduced a kill switch, where you could press like 6 buttons on the controller at the same time, and it would automatically kill your character on the spot. The reason for that was that, since the game had been out for a few weeks, they had gotten reports from players that it was possible to get stuck behind certain physics objects, and then you would have to exit and reload your game because you'd just be stuck there. So they introduced this as a debug tool to help players, and I think that's a very good idea. It's not meant to be used in normal gameplay. It's just a last resort so that, you know, to make it nicer to players that you don't have to quit the game every time you get stuck. And the thing is that for a casual player, they would never want to just kill themselves during the run, but from a speedrun perspective, you activate certain checkpoints in certain locations, and then you take a bunch of intentional deaths. And normally taking those intentional deaths requires skill. You have to go and kill yourself in a certain way or take a bunch of damage in advance kind of thing, right? I mean, you know how that works. And so I said that I felt very strongly that we should not be using the kill switch in the run because it would save time. And it's a debug tool, we shouldn't be using it. And the retort that I got was, well, it's part of the game, we can use it. And I'm like, yeah, it's part of the game, but it's a debug tool. It would be equivalent to running Half-Life 2 and just at the start of the run, you open up the command console and enable... you open up the command console and enable no-clip. That's part of the run just as much as anything else, but why would you ever want to do that? That would not be an enjoyable run, it would not be a skillful run. And what I was saying is that using a kill switch like that is not remotely as game-breaking as something like no-clip, but I'm like, it's a debug tool. The point of a speedrun, we're trying to play the game fast, we're trying to find glitches, and we're trying to exploit the game. Basically, what makes a speedrun interesting is taking existing systems and using them in unintended ways, or just finding honest-to-God glitches. This is a debug tool. That's different. That's not an exploit. That's not a glitch. I don't think we should be using debug tools in speedruns. And I told them, like, you know, find me one other game that uses debug tools in their speedrun, and I'll give you $20. But that's just, that doesn't make sense. And then they started going off on complaints about, well, people can run whatever they want. I'm like, yeah, they can. I mean, anyone can do anything. So someone could run Ori in the Blind Forest and just decide that they want to run 99% rather than 100%. That's the category they want to do. And it's like, fine. You know, more power to them. People can play video games however they damn well choose. However, it's kind of silly to support that on the leaderboard. And since the Surge is a relatively new game and we're trying to set the rules, I'm like, why would we want to set this as a precedent? It's the sort of thing where it isn't just optional. If we allow kill switching in the run, it is now required, because it would save you like 30 seconds over the course of the run. And so it's now required. Like it doesn't save much time. Like the amount of time that it saves is absolutely irrelevant. If it saved a quarter second, I would still feel as strongly that we shouldn't use it. I think the biggest thing is they just didn't have experience speedrunning, and that in itself doesn't matter either. You don't need to be an experienced speedrunner to speedrun a game or to have opinions on it, just like you don't have to be a parent to have experience on to have opinions on parenting. But I'm like, well, I mean, I felt like a bit of a douchebag, but it's like, well, I mean, not to pull rank here, but I've been speedrunning a lot of games for like 2.5 years, and I've never heard of anything like this in use. I think that if we had additional runners in here, they would all say the same thing that I'm saying. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting negative, so let me move off that topic. Right, exactly, Muffin. It's a massive slippery slope. Ugh. Oh my god, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Maybe I should be. There we go. All right. I mean, the summary of that whole... All right, I got it good. The summary of that whole thing there is I don't really want to speedrun the Surge, in large part because I didn't feel like I got along very well with the other runners. I mean, yeah, I mean, community is what makes a game... Oh my god, what am I doing? Community is what makes a game thrive. Like, the game has to be a good speed game in its own right, but imagine if nobody ran Super Mario 64. That would not change anything about the quality of the speedrun, but it would make there be a hell of a lot fewer runners. I mean, Jesus, like we all want to support each other, but it's also kind of bragging rights. You want to be able to brag and say, look at this amazing time I got. You can't do that if there's no one to share it with. At least that's why I speedrun. I mean, like, I don't think I'd ever want to run a super huge game like Mario 64 or something. Not because the game's bad, not because any of the people running it are bad, just because it would be almost impossible to stand out. Because people have been running it for so long and they're so good at it. Hey, Manuchin. Oh, do you know what else makes a good speedrun? Something I haven't talked about yet? Well, let me get through this fight before I die. Ooh, that's unlucky. See ya. You got really lucky in the first game. That's amazing. What was your first game? Give me that time save. I want it. Yes! Okay, so what I was saying, one of the other things that makes a game a very good speed game is providing good debug tools and save states, so that it's easier for runners to do segmented practice. And that can mean either just having multiple save slots. It can mean including debug tools that you can enable through like a config file or something. Again, Ori is just the crown jewel there. Those debug tools are amazing. And this game unfortunately does not have that. And it's not something you can really fault the developer for. I mean, it has nothing to do with the quality of the overall game, but strictly from a speedrunning perspective, it's so nice to have. Nice. Oh my god, that's a lot of time. How comparable is that to Jedi Outcast? Oh my god. What am I doing now down here? This maze is so tough. It's so hard to optimize. Interesting. Yeah, having quick saves and quick loads is just so nice. Having teleport tools, having the ability to give yourself skills, incredibly useful. Like, it's absolutely something that should have to be enabled, but it's very nice. Or even if you're not a speedrunner, like, it depends on the nature of your game. Like, if your game is single player, I don't see why you wouldn't try to provide those tools. Just to let people kind of mess around with things. Like, I think it'd be very interesting to be able to enable visual hitboxes, see where all the rectangles are and whatnot. Having nothing to do with speedrunning, just because it would be kind of cool to see. Right, right. Certainly makes the run a lot more safe. Right, right. Oh my god, please drop. That did look very, very complex. Well, I guess in Outcast it does at least. Interesting, Nightbot. Interesting. Is that because of timers? Yeah, no worries. Look at that. That is fascinating. Crap. There we go. God, that sounds complex. That must have taken a while to route. Did you do the routing for that, or did someone else? Or at least most of it. Nice. Like, I remember you talking about one of the specific fights, how you were able to knock one of them onto their backs and just take them out immediately. And I think you said that's a strat that you came up with. Although I don't know the name of the character because I don't know the game. Vindar, Kairos, maybe? Dude, this is insane pace, by the way. I mean, I'm probably going to lose it to Chicken Thief, but if I can get first or even second try Chicken Thief, maybe even third try, I'm within PB range. I may have just jinxed it by saying that, but I'll keep trying. Is this it? Let's hope. Hey, you got troubles? Long time no see. It's going pretty well, just doing some speedruns. Practicing for GDQ. I'm gonna do some defunct after this run. That is totally okay. I lurk all the time. For instance, I was lurking in Muffin's chat just earlier today. No, wait, no I wasn't. But I did that recently. Was I lurking in any Twitch streams today? I don't think that many people were live today that I saw. I think Trojan went live a little bit ago. Maybe. My god, what is happening? Yeah, Defunct is cool. I don't know how long you're planning on sticking around, but I am going to do Defunct after this, so you'll get to see it some more. Well, I'll talk more about Defunct later. First, I have to get this. I really want first try, and I'm probably not going to get it. Got it. Okay, let's go. This is the run. I was actually able to track that too. That wasn't even a guess. Defunct is not hard. It's kind of hard. Overall, I'd say it's certainly it has its hard moments. Overall, I don't think it's too difficult, but it's hard to optimize just given the physics-based nature of the game. There's still lots of time for me to lose here, but hopefully I won't mess it up. Please. Oh, I want this PB though. I want it very badly. I should be able to get it too. I mean, my sum of bets is almost 3 minutes faster. The world record in that game can always be improved. The world record in almost, well, in any game can be improved, I'm sure. I'm sure for more established games it becomes increasingly, you know, almost impossible to break it, but there's a reason you don't see people breaking Mario 64 records every day. But especially for some of these indie games, they can absolutely be beaten. Like, the world record for this category of this game is... it's really, really, really good. It's not unbeatable, but it's really, really good. Hell, the world record for Ori is still like 3 minutes behind the TAS. I love that about games. Sorry, I'm kind of in focus mode, so I might start saying a bit less. I don't wanna chug a big Coca-Cola, but this is certainly the best PB potential run I've had so far, or at least in quite a while. Hey, Raunchy Doom. And I got the super slide. Let's go. I think that's frame perfect. I don't know for sure, but I think it's frame perfect. If it's not frame perfect, it's close to frame perfect. Now I do kind of want to go get a Coke. Really? Apparently I wasn't on the wall. Alright, treetops, let's go. Easy, first try. I hope I get that super slide at GDQ as well. That'd be pretty nifty. Crap. What is happening? Alright, I'm choking. And I'm getting salty. Good. Alright, that's time lost. That was pretty rough. That was pretty rough. I'm going to lose quite a bit of time to that. Fuck. Yeah, thank you. I'm starting to really hold myself to pretty high standards here. Whereas I should just relax and do the run. I've done it enough times. Really? How did that miss? That one I'm surprised about. Even if this is a PB, I don't want it to be an angry PB. That's no fun. Let's talk about something happy. What are you guys up to that's new and exciting? Anyone have any like fun plans for the week besides GDQ next week? Really, you've got troubles. Congratulations. What are your plans now, if you know? Going to college or going to work somewhere, or still figuring things out? Alright, not bad. That could have been better. Not bad, though. Hey, Richard. Thanks for the luck. I appreciate it. I need it, too. I'm doing all right. I'm starting to lose time because I'm getting nervous. Nice. I did comp sci as well. So I guess let me know if you have any questions. Although, obviously, you haven't started yet. I am excited. I think GDQ is going to be awesome. I'm just... Yeah, it'll be awesome. Alright, let's go. No more pussy play. No more being a big giant peach. Let's do this. Really? I'm sure you'll do great, though, Troubles. Good. That's more like it. And I got the Hyperfly. Very nice. Crap. Alright, let's go. Hopefully I get good luck on Jaguar. I think my PB had a pretty good fight. For me, my Calc 2 class in college was by far the hardest class, and I don't know exactly what that translates to in every different school. But that was the one that started dealing with like Taylor series and really complex stuff. I really enjoyed linear algebra. Yes, and no! What? What? Usually when you kill him, he always just stands still on the last hit. That time he decided to fly to the side. He was exactly in the middle, dude. Okay, still a good fight, but... Oh, I just got trolled. Usually when you kill him, he stands right in place. That's pretty unlucky. Unbelievable. The nerve of that silly little cat. Calc 3 was cool. That dealt with a lot of 3D geometry stuff. That was pretty neat. That's fine. I mean, at least I didn't lose time. I should have saved time there, though. That could have even been a rainbow. Crap, 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 crap. I'm starting to play sloppy. You were never taught the unit circle? How would you do anything in like trigonometry at all without knowing the unit circle? Crap. These Chupas are the absolute worst. No, my god, stop. Oh my god, seriously. Fuck off. Oh my god, what the hell? Stop. Wow, wow. Okay, I probably just lost 30 seconds there. What the fuck? That was absolute... I didn't do a single thing wrong there. That was complete fucking RNG. What the hell was that? That is really, really frustrating. This is why RNG frustrates me in speedruns. That was... No part of that was in my control. That's extremely frustrating. What the hell? That time he changed his shot mid-shot. They almost never do that. Wow. I doubt that I'm going to be ahead by the time I get to Temple anymore. That is absolutely infuriating. That is not my fault. I did not deserve that time loss. Fuck RNG in video games. Damn it. I should be like a minute ahead here. It's pathetic. I'm really not happy with this. I shouldn't even be upset. I mean, I can still easily PB. I'm just so pissed. I want the best times I can get. I can't believe those chupacabras. I didn't deserve that. Even there, that was not my fault. That was the chupacabra. Unbelievable. And now I have to wait here because the chupacabra shot. I had to change my trajectory. Unbelievable. That just lost me even more time. Okay, at least I got good RNG there. I'm so salty right now. And I'm starting to play very sloppy as well. I should be much further ahead than I am. Being salty makes me a shit streamer, though. That's why it worries me. Makes me a shit streamer, and it makes the stream much less enjoyable to watch. Well, thank you, Muffin. I'm glad you don't. I'm so angry about these time losses I've had, though. Especially the ones that were my fault, like the beginning of Treetops. Good fight. If I die to this, I know I'm gonna get really, really pissed, so I need to... I mean, hopefully I won't mess it up, but... I'm kind of trying to just calm down in advance. I was perfectly happy with the last run, and that was worse than this one, so I really shouldn't be... upset about this. Good. Good. Let's see if I can get all these first try. I'm gonna wait till he gets up and comes to the middle on this one. Good. That one's pretty tough to get. Crap. Okay, that's okay. He was in a bad position there, not what I'm used to. Alright, good. That's alright. Second try will work. Unfortunately, now he's against the wrong. Get off the wall, dude. I'm gonna wait for him to get up a minute. Good. Hold up. I can't see what that is yet. Azore, holy crap. Thank you for the host. Thank you very, very much for the host. Welcome, everyone. I am on pretty solid PB pace here. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna try to greet everyone. Give me a second. Give me a second. Hello, Enjoy. Hello, Icy. Hello, Windowsaf. Hello, Z's. Hello, Voxel Socks. Hello, Sorbasi. Hello, Azore himself. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. How did your stream go? And I'll apologize in advance. I may focus a bit more heavily than usual because I am on PB pace. Even though I've thrown away a whole bunch of free time, I'm still on PB pace. And even though all that really matters is that I get below my SGDQ estimate, what I really care about is getting a sick new PB. It determines my worth as a human. My manliness is directly proportional to my time in Guacamelee. But yeah, I do really appreciate the host. And welcome everyone, and someone just followed and I don't know who it is. Oh god. Icy with 1,000 underscores after it. Thank you for the follow. Oh god, okay. For anyone who's never seen this game before, this is Guacamelee. It's a Metroidvania. I would say 2D Metroidvania, but that's a bit redundant. I'm running 100%, and I'm going to be running this game at Summer Games Done Quick on Sunday, like the opening day. My estimate is 1 hour and 22 minutes, and you can see by my PB of 1:15:24 that, well, that's kind of the rough length of the run. Although hopefully I can get a new PB here. I don't have my old PB highlighted because my internet died right at the end of it. So I lost my recording. Because I'm a good streamer who doesn't record locally. D-Bomb, thanks for the follow as well. I thought you were already following, but regardless, thank you. Okay, Forest has gone pretty well so far. Not too much left of this run. Let's go. Grand Temple, let's go. What is forward to the sky? Raid message indeed. Hi, Kratok. I like your raid message. It's a nice raid message. Oh god. Oh, did I say follow? That wasn't a follow, it was a host. Thank you, D-Bomb. Okay, so let me see if I can not mess this up. I'm gonna wait like a second or two here. I haven't been commentating this run, but to give everyone new an idea of what it is I'm doing. This is the Grand Temple. It's the final dungeon of the game. And I can do a trick in it called the Grand Temple Skip. But it requires that I dodge a bunch of bunch of save triggers. Good. And to dodge the save triggers, I have to become a chicken because my hitbox is smaller as a chicken than it is as a human. And I have to stand in certain locations after each arena. And if you aren't really familiar with this game, I guess it will still be pretty understandable. Well, okay, so the Grand Temple skip is primarily named after any percent, where you do actually skip the entire Grand Temple. In this category, since it's 100%, I obviously have to do a lot of things in the Grand Temple. But the trick works exactly the same way, it's just that I do it a little bit later. Ow, stop that. Alright, so here I'm going to be a chicken and stand in this corner for 3 seconds. And then go on. Then go on, then go on. Even if you've never seen this game before, I would imagine that the movement mechanics and stuff are pretty straightforward. I can run and I can jump. I can become a chicken in this game, which is not common, I suppose, as far as Metroidvanias go. Ow. Good RNG, good RNG. Alright, RNGesus has been a little bit of a fickle bitch this run, but that's okay. Okay, so this is the Grand Temple skip. I'm going to buy an item from the save point without activating the save point. Quit the game, spawn somewhere else. Chickens can fly in this game at a certain point. And if I did this correctly, I will now be at the top of the Grand Temple. Good. In any percent, the run would be effectively over here. But this isn't any percent, so I have to go get a bunch of things. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I'm so nervous. I really want a PB. My sum of best is like 3 minutes faster, so I've been kind of on the brink of a PB for a little while here. But yeah, my character can be in either human form or chicken form. The chicken moves more quickly in the X direction, so whenever I'm just trying to cover ground, I'm going to try to remain a chicken. However, the chicken can't do much else. Oh, crap. Okay. Okay, this part's tough. Oh my god, please. This part's tough. Let me see if I can get it. I'm going to try to do this whole section without touching the ground. Good. That'll do it. Moving right along. 1, 2, 3. I would recommend this game. I mean, know what you're getting in for. If you don't like Metroidvanias, I mean, you're not going to like this game, but if you do like Metroidvanias, I think you'll really enjoy it. This game has an interesting meld of movement and combat. Like, every skill you can get in the game mixes combat and movement, so you can use them in either way. It also makes the speedrun very, very interesting. And if you are watching this speedrun for the first time, you will see a lot of things that may not make sense to you. I guess that's going to be true of any run. The gist of what I'm doing in this area, though, is part of 100% is that I have to get every single chest. So I'm just going through this area and breaking open every single chest that I can find. And then I'm going to go right to the end of the game. There's not that much left, though, so 4 blocks here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This next arena is the most random one in the game. There's going to be a bunch of enemies that spawn, and they spawn in consistent locations, but not with consistent shield colors. And shield colors matter because I can't damage enemies until I take out their shields. Oh crap. Crap. Son of a bitch, let's go. Good. Yeah, this arena is just super chaotic, and I think I lost time on it, but there's not too much I can do about that. It's just, not only are the random shield colors in that arena, but those enemies in particular are very, very annoying. They just jump around all over the place. Okay, not much left, though. Oh, I can swap between the living world and the dead world. So whenever you see the screen change from sort of a more colorful hue to a purplish tint, that means I'm switching between the living world and the dead world. Which effectively swaps a bunch of world elements like platforms and teleporters and such. Don't dodge. Thank you, do not dodge. Stand in place and let me kill you. Good. Those lightning guys are exclusive to this dungeon. They're also exclusively a pain in the ass. Oh, and check out this dodge. This dodge is really swaggy. Exactly. Okay, almost done. Almost done. Let's do this. Let's do this. Focus mode. I'm gonna try hyperfly here that I always miss. No, I got it. I got it. Let's go. Let's freaking go. This is it. This has the potential to be a rainbow split, I think. I'm just mashing A as fast as I can right now. Okay, not rainbow, but still a time save. Only the final boss remaining. This is probably going to be a PB unless I really mess this up. I should be like way further ahead than I am, but let me see if I can do it. So this final boss is named Kalaka. It's a two-phase boss fight, and phase 1 is quite a bit more difficult than phase 2. Neither phase is very difficult when you know what you're doing, but phase 2 is the easier of the two. What is gold dustful? Is that a reference to rainbow splits versus gold splits? Let's do this. So he's going to disappear, and then he's going to reappear a bunch of times, and I'm just going to try to punch him over and over again. Crap. Good. No. Okay, whatever. I got a 4 cycle. I wanted a 3 cycle, but that's not much time loss. It's a bot command that plays the entire... Does it do that for every single gold split? Or just when the command is input? That is incredibly annoying and also really hilarious. That's pretty cool. Alright, here we go. Final fight. Stop tantruming, dude. Tantruming is slow and forces me to get away from you and stop hitting you. There we go. Okay, so this will be a PB. Phew. Phew, phew, phew. Okay, so he did a bunch of tantrums, which lost me time, but that will be a PB. I don't know whether I'm going to save time on this split, but I certainly didn't lose 23 seconds. About damn time with my sum of bests. I've done probably like 20... Since my last PB, I've probably done like 10 to 15 runs, I think. Maybe not that many. Oh, I guess I didn't actually check whether I have 100%, but I'm pretty sure that I do. I'll verify in a minute. And time. Sub 115. Very nice. I didn't take second place. Second place is at 113.36, I think. So I would need to save an additional minute and a half roughly for second place, but I'll take it. I'll take it. And unlike my old PB, my internet is still alive, so I can highlight this one. Take a bath. I will. I actually, in my apartment, I have a it's like a jacuzzi tub. It's not an incredibly big fancy one, but it is a jacuzzi, so technically I could go take a nice bath. Thanks for the grats, guys. Thanks for the GGs. Thanks again for the host, Azori. I'm glad that you guys are here to share this moment with me. Okay, wait, I'm gonna skip the credits. I'm gonna skip the credits and quick launch back into the game and just verify that I have 100%. Which, I mean, I definitely do, but let's just verify. Yeah, so in the top right, you can see that I have 100%, which means that this is a legitimate PB. Nice.